Hey, basketball fans, welcome back to Tips and Streams, your go-to spot for the hottest NBA regular season predictions. I'm Kokan, and I'm here to break down today's matchups and give you the edge you need to make the best bets. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video. Your support means the world to us. Remember, our channel has no sponsors and relies solely on the love and support of viewers like you. Even a small donation by pressing the thanks button under the video helps us keep bringing you top-notch content every day. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and fellow basketball enthusiasts. And we love hearing from you, so drop a comment below and let us know what you want to see in our forecasts. Your feedback helps us improve and bring you the content you crave. Let's jump right into today's NBA predictions. We've got some exciting games lined up, so stay tuned and let's get that winning streak going.
Today we have predictions for 6 NBA games. The first prediction for today is for a game between the Los Angeles Lakers and Sacramento Kings. Man, we've got ourselves a juicy rematch between the Lakers and Kings, and it's going to be fun to see how this one plays out. Just a few nights ago, the Lakers took care of business in Sacramento, and now they're back in town looking to do it again. It's not every day you see an early game in Sacktown, but hey, here we are. The Lakers, man, they're a tough team to pin down this season. One night they look like title contenders, the next, they're struggling to keep up. But lately, it seems like they've found a bit of rhythm. Anthony Davis and LeBron James are, as always, the heartbeat of this squad. AD's been a monster, putting up big numbers and owning the paint, while LeBron's still doing his thing as the ultimate floor general. And how about Austin Reeves? The kid was on fire last game, dropping 25 and leading the charge. That's the kind of spark they need from their role players if they're going to make a deep playoff run. On the flip side, the Kings have been all over the place this year. For a team with so much talent, they've been wildly inconsistent. De'Aaron Fox is a blur on the court, Sabonis is doing his usual dirty work inside, and adding DeMar DeRozan gives them another scoring option. But the problem? Their defense just hasn't been there. They're giving up way too many open looks, especially from deep, and teams are making them pay. The Lakers lit them up from 3 the other night, and if they don't tighten up, it could be more of the same. What makes this matchup so tricky is that both teams have their flaws. The Lakers have struggled on the defensive end too, and they're not exactly lighting it up from downtown, ranking in the bottom third of the league. But if AD and LeBron are even close to 100%, this squad can hang with anyone. On the other hand, the Kings can score in bunches, but their inability to get stops makes them vulnerable, even at home. Now, here's the kicker. Beating the same team twice in a row, especially on their home floor, is no easy task. The Kings will be fired up for this one, no doubt about it. They've got the pieces to turn things around and make it a tough night for the Lakers. But I'm not sold on their consistency. They've been struggling against the spread all season, and I just don't trust them to close out games when it matters most. I'll tell you this, if LeBron and AD are both in the lineup, I'm leaning toward the Lakers to keep this one tight and maybe even steal another win. Even if LeBron sits, I still think AD can hold it down enough to cover the spread. The Kings might squeak out a revenge win, but I don't see them running away with it. It's going to be a grinded-out type of game, and I'll take the Lakers with these 7 points in a spot like this.
Welcome to BetUS, Sportsbook and Casino, your ultimate hub for secure and thrilling sports betting and casino gaming. BetUS is one of the oldest and most reliable online sportsbooks in the U.S., serving millions of clients all over the globe each month. BetUS, trusted for over 30 years, offers huge welcome bonuses, countless betting options, and many deposit and payout methods. Depositing funds is a breeze and safe, with a minimum deposit of just $10. Payouts are fast and hassle-free, beginning at only $50. Choose from various payout options like MoneyGram, couriered check, cryptocurrency, or bank wire. Signing up is quick and easy. For signing up, you can use the link in the description and enjoy a generous 125% welcome bonus of up to $3,000. By signing up using the link in the description, you'll also support us as we earn a small commission from your registration at BetUS. Thank you for supporting us. Join now and start winning.
The second prediction for today is for a game between the Miami Heat and Orlando Magic. All right, let's dive into this one. The Miami Heat are heading to Orlando to face off against the Magic in what should be a gritty battle between two teams leaning heavily on their defensive identities. These squads have a storied history, with the Heat leading the all-time series 79-60, but the Magic have shown recently that they're not afraid to punch back. Case in point, the Magic dismantled Miami 116-97 in their last matchup in October. That win came on the Heat's home floor, and now the Magic are back in their fortress, where they've been lights out this season.
Miami's been a mixed bag on the road, sitting at 4-7, and they've taken some ugly losses away from home. Losing outright to the Pistons and falling short against the Hornets aren't exactly highlights to write home about. Orlando, on the other hand, has been electric at the Amway Center, rocking a 10-2 home record. Even with injuries piling up, they've held it down, and their crowd has been a difference maker. The Heat have their own issues, though, especially with Jimmy Butler sidelined due to illness. That's a massive blow since Butler's been the heart and soul of this team, dropping an absurd 35-point triple-double just last week. Without him, Miami will lean on Tyler Herro, who's their top scorer but has had his share of struggles. Herro chucked up 17 threes in a recent outing and only cashed in on 4, yikes. Bam Adebayo has been steady, bringing his usual two-way game, but the Heat desperately need a third option to step up. Nikola Jovic is back in the mix, which is a boost, but their depth is going to be tested, especially coming off the second night of a back-to-back. Now, let's talk about Orlando. The Magic are banged up. There's no way around it. Franz Wagner is out indefinitely, and Paolo Banchero is still dealing with that oblique injury. To make matters worse, Jalen Suggs tweaked his ankle recently, although he seems good to go. Moritz Wagner has been the silver lining, stepping up big time with a career-high 32-point performance against the Knicks. But let's be real, without Franz and Paolo, this offense is missing a lot of firepower. Defensively, though, the Magic are no joke. They're the best shot-blocking team in the league and rank second in points allowed. That rim protection will be key if they want to slow down Miami. Offensively, it's a different story. They're dead last in three-point shooting and rank near the bottom in field goal percentage. Turnovers have also been an issue, and if Miami's defense, which is great at forcing mistakes, can take advantage, it could spell trouble for the Magic. This game feels like a slugfest waiting to happen. Both teams are defensive-minded, and with Orlando struggling to score and Miami missing Butler, it's hard to see this turning into a shootout. I think Miami's experience and depth, even on a back-to-back, give them the edge. The Magic are tough at home, no doubt, but with their top scorers out, I don't trust their offense to get the job done. If Herro and Bam can carry the load and the Heat keep Orlando off balance defensively, I like Miami to cover the plus 4-point spread. It might not be pretty, but that's exactly what I'm expecting from the Heat. Before we move on, I have a quick favor to ask. If you're enjoying the content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing might seem like a small action, but it actually makes a big impact for us. Plus, it's completely free for you. Have you clicked that subscribe button? Awesome, thank you so much for your support. Now let's dive back into the video. The third prediction for today is for a game between the Memphis Grizzlies and Atlanta Hawks. The Memphis Grizzlies roll into Atlanta with some serious momentum, and I've got my eye on them in this matchup. This team has been lights out lately, winning 11 of their last 13 games and showing why they're a force to be reckoned with in the Western Conference. They're coming off a demolition job against the Warriors, where they dropped a jaw-dropping 144 points and held Golden State to just 93. It was one of those games where everything clicked, threes were falling like rain, the boards were theirs, and the ball movement was next level. Santi Aldama led the charge with 21 points and 14 boards, while Desmond Bane quietly added 15 points and 7 dimes. John Morant barely broke a sweat, playing just 17 minutes. This squad has balance, depth, and a hunger that's hard to ignore. Memphis plays a brand of basketball that just feels relentless. They're putting up 117.2 points per 100 possessions, good for 5th in the league, and they're just as solid on defense, ranking 4th in defensive efficiency. That balance is what makes them such a dangerous team to face. And then there's their transition game. Nobody runs the break better than these guys. They're the league leaders in fast break possessions, and with Morant leading the charge, it's like watching a track meet every time they take the floor. Sure, turnovers are an issue. They cough it up more than most teams, but their energy and hustle more than make up for it. On the flip side, Atlanta's been a bit of a mess. They've dropped 3 of their last 4 and just can't seem to string together consistent performances. Their last game against the Spurs was wild. They blew a halftime lead, went into overtime, and still lost by 7. Turnovers were a killer, with 23 giveaways, and their defense just couldn't hold up when it mattered. Trae Young is doing everything he can, dropping dimes left and right, but his shooting struggles from deep are a problem. He's a magician with the ball, no doubt, but the Hawks need more from their supporting cast. DeAndre Hunter has been stepping up, and Jalen Johnson is showing why he's worth the big bucks with near double-double averages, but it still feels like this team is searching for answers. What really worries me about the Hawks is their defense, or lack thereof. They're giving up way too many points, getting torched in transition, and letting teams light them up from 3. That's a recipe for disaster against a team like Memphis, who thrives on exploiting those weaknesses. Atlanta can score, they're one of the fastest teams in the league, but their offensive efficiency doesn't match their pace. It's like they're running on a treadmill, going nowhere fast. This matchup feels like a prime opportunity for Memphis to keep their momentum rolling. They've owned the series lately, winning and covering in 4 of their last 5 trips to Atlanta. Even with some injury concerns, Marcus Smart is questionable, and John Morant is still easing into the season. The Grizzlies have the depth to get it done. Atlanta's Trae Young is listed as questionable too, and if he's not 100%, the Hawks are in even bigger trouble. I'm expecting this to be a high-scoring game, with both teams playing at warp speed and chucking up shots like there's no tomorrow. That said, 242 points is a hefty line, and I wouldn't be surprised if the total comes in just under that. The Grizzlies have been cashing tickets all season, and I see no reason to go against them here. They've been one of the best teams to back, and even though they're a little shakier on the road, they've got the edge in this matchup. My money's on Memphis to grab the win and keep proving why they're a team to watch. The fourth prediction for today is for a game between the Boston Celtics and Chicago Bulls. The Boston Celtics are heading into Chicago with redemption on their minds after an uncharacteristic slip-up against the Bulls last Thursday. That loss wasn't just a fluke, it exposed some cracks in Boston's armor, and you know they'll be fired up to make a statement tonight. The Celtics, with their 21-6 record, have been playing some of the most efficient basketball in the league, but that game showed how even the best teams can stumble when role players don't step up. Jason Tatum was his usual superstar self in the last matchup, dropping 31 points, but he didn't get much help. Kristaps Porzingis chipped in as the second leading scorer, but it wasn't enough to overcome a surprisingly hot Chicago team. For Boston, it was one of those nights where nothing clicked. They put up just 108 points, way below their season average, and for a team that thrives on spreading the floor and knocking down threes, that's simply not going to cut it. The Celtics live and die by their shooting, and they'll need to get back to their ball-moving, sharp-shooting ways to reclaim their dominance. On the other side, the Bulls are a team that's hard to pin down. They've been wildly inconsistent this season, sitting at 13-15 and somehow finding a way to string together 3 wins in a row, including that stunner in Boston. Zach LaVine was unstoppable in that game, torching the Celtics for 36 points and looking every bit the elite scorer he's capable of being. But let's not kid ourselves, the Bulls' defense is shaky at best. They're one of the worst defensive squads in the league, giving up over 121 points per game at home, and they've been bleeding points all season. They play fast, which can be exciting, but it also means they're constantly vulnerable to being run off the floor. For Boston, this is about setting the tone early and dictating the pace. They don't want to get caught up in the Bulls' frenetic style. The Celtics are at their best when they're methodical, making the extra pass and carving up defenses with their three-point shooting. Their roster is loaded with guys who can get hot at any moment, and when that happens, it's lights out for the opposition. Boston doesn't need to reinvent the wheel, they just need to play their game, and the shots will fall. I think the Celtics have too much firepower and pride to let the Bulls beat them twice in a row. Chicago's defense simply doesn't have the chops to contain a team this good for 2 straight games, especially when Boston's coming in with something to prove. I see Tatum and Brown leading the charge, with the role players stepping up to fill the gaps. Boston's defense will tighten up on LaVine, and their shooting efficiency should be the difference maker. When the dust settles, I expect the Celtics to not only win, but to cover that 10-point spread with room to spare. Chicago's fast-paced style might keep things close for a while, but Boston's precision and depth will take over. And let's be real, with the way Chicago's defense has been leaking points, it's hard to see this game staying under the total. I'm leaning toward a high-scoring affair where the Celtics remind everyone why they're one of the most dangerous teams in the league. The fifth prediction for today is for a game between the Philadelphia 76ers and Cleveland Cavaliers. Man, the Cleveland Cavaliers are on a tear this season. Sitting at 24-4, they're not just winning games, they're dominating in a way that screams, we're the team to beat. That beatdown they handed the Bucks, 124-101, was just another day at the office for these guys. It's like every piece of their puzzle is fitting perfectly right now, and honestly, it's hard to imagine anyone stopping their momentum. What makes this Cavs squad so dangerous is how in sync they are. Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, those two are playing like they've got telepathy. The way they move the ball, create shots, and keep defenses scrambling is just next level. And then there's Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley controlling the paint. They're not just big bodies, they're game changers, grabbing boards, protecting the rim, and finishing plays with authority. Plus, let's talk about their shooting, leading the league at 40% from deep and lighting it up from the field overall. You leave them open, you pay. It's that simple. At home, they're practically invincible. A 15-1 record? That's not just a good home court advantage, that's a fortress. And they've been ruthless against struggling teams, going 15-0 against sub-.500 squads. It's like they see those games as target practice and they don't miss. 6 of their last 7 wins have been by double digits. They're not just beating teams, they're running them out of the gym. On the other side, the Sixers are in a rough spot. Their 9-16 record doesn't lie. Yeah, they've won 4 of their last 5, including a couple of layup wins against the Hornets. But let's be real, that's not exactly a confidence booster. Joel Embiid being back helps, but with this being the second game of a back-to-back, who knows if he'll even play. If he sits, Philly's chances take a serious hit. Even when Embiid's been on the floor, the Sixers haven't found their groove. Their shooting is still a mess, 25th in field goals, 27th from deep, and their offense overall is scraping the bottom of the league. Tyrese Maxey's been solid, but he can't carry the whole load. Paul George? He's been hit or miss, and for a guy brought in to make a big impact, that's not cutting it. Rookie Jared McCain has been a pleasant surprise, and Gershon Yabusel has had flashes, but this team just doesn't have the firepower to go toe-to-toe with a juggernaut like Cleveland. For Philly to have any shot, they've got to slow this game down and make it ugly. If it turns into a high-paced shootout, Cleveland's walking away with another blowout. The Cavs thrive on dictating tempo and exploiting mismatches, and their depth gives them the edge in these back-to-back situations. Plus, being at home doesn't hurt, those Cleveland fans bring the energy. At the end of the day, I just don't see the Sixers pulling off an upset here. The Cavs are too locked in, too balanced, and too talented. Even though Philly has historically covered the spread in most of their recent matchups, this Cleveland squad feels different, like they're out to make a statement every single night. I'm rolling with the Cavs to win and cover that 10-point spread. They've been making the levers out of everyone this season, and I'm not jumping off the bandwagon now. Let's keep riding with Cleveland. The 6th prediction for today is for a game between the Golden State Warriors and Minnesota Timberwolves. Alright, let's break down this matchup between the Timberwolves and Warriors, a game that feels like both teams are itching for redemption. Golden State, once the toast of the West with a 12-3 start, has hit a rough patch, losing 9 of their last 11. That Memphis game? Absolutely brutal. Watching Steph Curry put up just 2 points on 0, 4-7 shooting was surreal, definitely not what we're used to from the 2-time MVP. Draymond Green, who usually fills the stat sheet, went scoreless with no boards or assists. It's been that kind of stretch for the Dubs. Now, the Wolves aren't exactly in a groove themselves, even if they're 6-2 in their last 8 games. That blowout against the Knicks, where they gave up 133 points, showed just how much work they still need to do. Anthony Edwards wasn't shy about calling the team out, and honestly, he's right. This squad has the talent, but not always the consistency. Edwards has been a bright spot, but when your offense leans too heavily on one guy, it's tough to win consistently. Julius Randle, now anchoring the paint for Minnesota, has to dominate inside against a Warriors team that's had its share of struggles in the post. Golden State is still dangerous. Even with all the struggles, they've managed a 7-7 record on the road, which isn't awful. The young guys like Jonathan Kuminga and Brandon Podziemski are showing glimpses of what they can bring to the table, but it's not enough to make up for the overall inconsistencies. Dennis Schroeder adds some depth to the rotation, and Buddy Hield has been electric off the bench, but they need more than sparks. They need fireworks. Defensively, this could turn into a slugfest. The Warriors have been holding teams to around 112 points over their last 3 games, and the Wolves have been even better, giving up just under 105 in their last 5. Both teams are locking down the perimeter, with Golden State ranking 7th and Minnesota 3rd in opposing 3-point percentages. With defenses this dialed in, scoring could be at a premium. Now, let's talk betting. Minnesota's been rough as a home favorite, sitting at 4-9 against the spread. Golden State, even with their struggles, has been solid against the spread this season at 15-11, and they seem to match up well with the Wolves. That's where I'm leaning here. While Minnesota might squeak out a win, I'm more confident in the total staying under 216.5. Here's what I'm seeing. Golden State will do everything they can to control the tempo, slowing the game down, playing through Curry and their shooters, and trying to grind this one out defensively. Minnesota will look to push the pace, but with the way both teams are defending right now, it feels like this one won't turn into a shootout. So, while I think the Wolves get it done at home, my play here is the under. Both teams are leaning on their defenses lately, and that trend should continue. My money's on this being a lower scoring, grinded out kind of game. Total points under 216.5 feels like the smart call. Let's see how this one shakes out.